least we still have anime. Hello everyone. So, topic of discussion today is action cartoons and why are they slowly dwindling out of cartoon channels. A topic that is much more relevant now that the new Thundercats Roar came out recently and everyone is talking about how ridiculously babied down it is. I said that it's trying to be the next Teen Titans Go, but why? Why would they reboot Thundercats Roar to be this babied down, very childish and manic new show? Well, YouTube has definitely been taking interest in this topic because they recommended to me another channel that was talking about this. And that particular person was saying the reason why there are more childish TV shows on nowadays is because of piracy. Thought he was joking at first, I'm not gonna lie. Yet another thing to blame piracy on. He had fair reasoning behind why he thought this. He was arguing that a lot of people who want to watch more mature cartoon shows are a much older audience, you know, adults and teenagers, and those people are all online pirating the show rather than watching it on a channel or on a streaming service. So because of that, the show is not getting enough ratings and eventually gets canceled. To some extent, I understand the logic behind thinking that. That being said, I definitely pirated cartoons when I was a child as well. I remember I had like every episode of Danny Phantom on my probably virus-ridden computer at the time. And every time I felt like watching it, just scroll through all the episodes like, what episode shall I watch today? But to be fair, I might have just been a very smart kid. But no, the reason why piracy is kind of a bad excuse for a lot of these action shows suddenly disappearing and being replaced with more babyish shows. You'd have to assume that all of these action shows were canceled due to low views, and that is not the reason why most of them were canceled. You know, like Teen Titans. Teen Titans was canceled because they couldn't sell the merch, they couldn't sell the toys, and that was really more so Cartoon Network's fault, because I did not even know that Teen Titans toys existed. Cartoon Network has a history of bad marketing, and I think Thundercats 2011 is another good example of that. Just super bad marketing. A lot of Thundercats fans, there's a huge Thundercats fan base, more than you would realize, and a lot of them didn't know that there was a 2011 reboot until recently when the new reboot came out and everyone was mentioning the 2011 reboot. That was good. And there was, of course, that argument like, oh well, they had a Thundercats 2011 reboot and nobody watched it, so it got canceled. I don't doubt that a lot of the original fans of Thundercats probably didn't watch the 2011 reboot because they didn't know it existed, but it didn't really get canceled for low views. If you actually look into the reasons why it was canceled, the views for the Thundercats 2011 show were fine, but the show itself was expensive to animate because it was very well animated. And the attitude that Cartoon Network had with the show was basically, okay, we'll do one season, and if it blows up, then we'll do another season. But if it doesn't blow up, then we'll just move on to something else. And of course it didn't blow up because it wasn't really that well marketed. But they didn't want to put any more money into it. They're just like, okay, well, we spent all this money for season 1. It's just gonna have to get marketing on its own. It's just gonna have to be found. Now, it's not like that's necessarily a bad attitude to have towards shows that are being made. Anime has the same sort of attitude, where they'll take a bunch of different manga series and they'll pay to have a season 1 of an anime made based on that manga series. And the idea is the anime is supposed to sell the mangas, and then the people who made the anime will get a cut of manga sales. And they have that same mindset with, hey, we'll make a season 1. If it blows up, we'll make other seasons, but if it doesn't blow up, we'll just leave it at season 1. And that's why there is a boatload of anime out there, because they're just adapting so many different series and then waiting for like one of them to blow up, and then that's where they start making the real bucks. If My Hero Academia never blew up like it did, it would have never gotten a second season. I mean, that's basically how it all works. But getting back to topic, you know, another example, Wander Over Yonder, I loved that show, and the second season did so much better than the first season. I remember like one of the songs from the second season, I'm the Bad Guy, went viral, but it never got a third season, despite the second season doing so well. And the reason why I never got a third season is because Disney Channel figured, well, we can just run reruns and people will just watch reruns of the show. There's no reason to make new episodes. So it's not just bad viewership that gets shows canceled. There are a lot of different reasons, a lot of different factors that come into play. So I don't think it's just as simple as blaming everything on piracy. I won't deny that definitely people pirate cartoon shows, and people pirate anime too, but that's doing just fine. Given that the new Thundercats Roar show is like getting a lot of hate, there are people who want to kind of defend it and defend this new wave of cartoon shows that are more babyish, that are more childish and manic. So they like to mention that the 2011 show was canceled. But I think it's fair for people to want a variety in cartoons that their children are watching. Even if it's not, you know, for them to watch with their kids, even if it's just their kids watching it, I think people are still very much interested in having a say of what their kids are watching. It's not just about entertaining the kids. It's not just about, you know, selling the toys. But what your kids watch do have something to do with how they develop and how they grow. And I think it's pretty fair for parents or audiences to advocate for shows that are more serious, that teach maturity and different lessons in life that kids should know. That's one of the problems that I have with Teen Titans Go. They don't really teach you any lesson. And I'm sure you could argue the same with SpongeBob. Although, you know, some SpongeBob episodes, they kind of teach you something. Kind of like a flip of the coin with SpongeBob, honestly. So a lot of people who are fans of the Thundercats 2011 show will look back on that show and wonder, why didn't Cartoon Network want to invest more into this? This is great. This is a show that people would definitely get behind if they just gave it more time to become more popular. If they just put in more money to advertise this to its original audience, people would definitely get behind this show. But what also came out in 2011 is the very popular, very simple Gumball. Now, I won't blame all of the silly shows that are out today on Gumball. I would more so blame it on Teen Titans Go. But the whole reasoning that Cartoon Network started leaning towards this more childish style of cartoons is because they were easy successes. They were simple, they were cheap to make, and they did well with very young audiences. Now, more mature shows, it's not like they don't have big audiences, and it's not like they don't do well, but it takes more time for them to do well. It's not easy for a more mature cartoon to be successful right away. Now, the main reason why this is because first, kids are going to be watching it. And not all kids are on board with more mature shows. Some of them, you know, will lose interest very quickly. Some of them will get bored during more dialogue-y parts. There are, in fact, a lot of kids out there that have a really tough time with paying attention to a more mature show. It takes them a little while to come around. And the more mature audience takes a while to find the show in the first place, because more mature audiences are not always necessarily on Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon or Disney Channel. Sure, maybe they're on Adult Swim, but on there, they're expecting a more mature show, while on Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, they have the chance of finding a really goofy show that won't really appeal to them. So it takes them a while to find the diamond in the rough. But kids, they watch those networks all day long. It won't take them long at all to find that childish show, and it won't take them long at all to click with that show. That's not to say that mature shows can't be successes, they just take longer. And unfortunately, a lot of channels out there are not willing to stick their neck out for a show. Once again, like Thundercats 2011. They said, hey, we'll give you one season, we won't market it that much, If it doesn't blow up, you're not getting a second season. And you know, one of the reasons why I think a lot of these channels are focusing more on quick successes rather than, you know, long-term successes is because they haven't been doing that great lately. You know, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and yes, even Disney Channel have made some poor decisions over the years that's left them with a little hole in their pocket. Hey, remember the Nickelodeon Hotel? Oh boy! I think this has prevented these companies from taking any more risks. So now they're just looking for easy successes that they can get by on and maybe, I guess, recoup some of their money. But another problem that they're also facing is the fact that not a lot of people are watching cable that much anymore. A lot of people are turning to streaming services, and I think they'll be able to get over that hump. I think most channels will be able to get over that hump of not a lot of people having cable anymore. You know, you can put up your episodes online for people to watch free with ads. You can make deals with some of the streaming services, and of course merch selling, that's always a very big thing. There are ways to get by even without cable views. So I think that if they are very careful and make the right business decisions, they'll be just fine. They won't poof out of existence. Until then, you might be asking, well, will there be any more mature shows for kids to watch in the future? Will we just keep on getting these very babyish shows for our children? That's definitely something that time will tell. Right now, it looks like that's what we're going to be getting for a while. You see, you look at it this way. If they make a lot of money from all these babyish shows, and they finally, you know, have enough money to invest in a more mature show, in great animation, in something worthwhile for the rest of us, would they invest it? Or would they just keep on making more babyish shows, making more money? It all depends what they want out of their company. Do they want to just be constantly getting these cash grabs, or do they want to actually support creativity and make something valuable? I guess that's a little bit of a harsh way of putting it, but that being said, you know, not all hope is lost for us more mature people. Netflix has certainly not strayed from making mature cartoons, and we all still have anime. No matter what happens, we'll always still have anime, guys. All that being said, let me know what you think down below in the comments. Thoughts, concerns, additional information that I might have not touched upon in this discussion. I'd love to make more videos like these, but you gotta let me know, do you like these videos? And if you do, leave a like on here. As usual, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Program restart.